It's time for another episode of the Real Pundits podcast. And for once, it's not Brandon starting the show off. This is Alex, and we're starting up our episode a little bit differently than we normally do. Recently, Brandon did not know that there was another Pet Cemetery trailer that came out. So right before the show, we dropped it on him, and now we're going to see exactly what he has to say, because at this exact moment, he's watching the trailer. So we're going to go from there and get his first initial response to Pet Cemetery, and we all know how much Brandon loves remakes. So we're going to get a chance to see what his thoughts are in just a couple of moments as he walks in the door and sits down. And go ahead, Brandon, tell me, what are your thoughts of the lovely trailer you just watched?
Dude.
Well, I mean,
seriously,
is your chance to watch a trailer? You're really amped about this remake?
No.
What?
I
thought
thought
you loved
about
remakes.
boycotting. This...
Come on, man! You can't sit here speechless on me. I thought you love it so much that you just can't wait to go.
I'm so appalled by what I just watched. I'm trying to collect my thoughts and have the right words. Let's start with the Amityville opening.
I was noticing that. I was
family
like,
driving to the house. They set it up like, new family and new home, haunted. Okay, we saw that in Amityville. We saw that in the remake of Amityville.
But they still did the whole fast vehicle going by jump scare thing. So I mean,
here's some logic.
All right, first of all, Pet Cemetery. Did you love the original?
I did.
Okay, so
and I'm not a fan of Stephen King book to movie adaptations.
Okay.
And I loved Pet Cemetery.
Okay. So you're excited about this new remake with the new visionary. What?
No, I'm not. Okay.
There
is something special.
Okay.
About the way, the original still holds up.
Yes. And part 2, right? Huh? You love that?
Actually, I didn't mind part 2.
Because that was come on.
That checked the box of cheeky B horror. And we know
right,
how much I love.
I can see that.
It's Sharknado quality.
Reasons.
It's that no pain, no gain with the drill. Come on, it was cheeky lines, garbage.
It was
garbage writing, terrible directing. It's everything you love in a Sharknado film, and that is what made Pet Cemetery 2 good.
All right, go ahead, man.
This.
Well, did you see how many different things they were biting off of? I mean, we had a Almost Hills Have Eyes moment.
We had that. We had the what was it? The one with not the Children of the Corn, but the other one, The Village.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the creepy kids, the following each other through the woods, but they were wearing
animal masks,
which reminded me of and then playing the drums. It was almost like the opening scene of Gangs of New York with the dead rabbits.
Yeah.
I don't know. The one thing I appreciate about the trailers, it didn't show me a ton. It showed me too much, though. It didn't show me a ton of the movie.
No, it just showed you a whole ton of information. But the part that I was having a problem with when I first saw the trailer was, I know the story in 2 different ways.
Yeah, the book
and then the adaptation. So now I'm going through and looking at this trailer, going, there's pieces of the original Pet Cemetery, but this is not the same.
Here's
Pet Cemetery, so they've changed it to at least try to keep people who've seen it interested.
I can see why fans of the book It can get behind the movie It. It may not have been my cup of tea, but I can see why they get behind it.
Okay.
Fans of Pet, and just because one of your book to movie adaptation remakes is successful financially.
Yeah, but look how many others failed.
Oh yeah, no. I'm
Dark Tower should have done something better than what it was.
This again. Dark Tower failed, right?
Yeah.
The Mist did not.
What, the TV remake of that? Because I say
the before. No, that's the point I'm getting to.
Okay.
The before, the first time you put it to film, it wasn't that good, but it didn't fail.
The Mist is my favorite, man. The Mist is one of my all-time favorites.
I'm not a fan of Stephen King book to movie adaptations.
The Mist is where I give my break to. It was so Lovecraftian.
The 2 that I liked was The Shining.
That's a good one.
And to be honest, I kind of dug The Langoliers. Well, I also like The Stand. So the 3
and Misery.
I don't like the actress. I don't like Bates, man.
Okay, each their own.
So, and that's literally the only thing I disliked about Misery. Otherwise, it was great. I just have a problem with her.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is. It's just she's got one of those like personalities, voices, faces, just her in general. I don't dig it. But my problem here is that just because it was successful doesn't mean you need to do this.
All of his books?
All of his books again. So the reason why it was successful is because if you look at the original source material, not the book, obviously, I'm going based off of the original film source material.
Right.
Yet the bar's not set that high. With this, they have a really high bar.
The story set the bar. In the original movie
Whether the
adaptation,
story set the bar, it was terribly done though, and
for its time period, it was dead on.
it was very 90s. But so was Pet Cemetery. But Pet Cemetery was the best you could get from the 90s. Like, go back and watch a 90s horror film.
Okay.
One of the most iconics you're going to find is Pet Cemetery.
Okay.
But here we're getting another 2019 now, but a 20 teens remake of a horror film that did well before. What this tells me is that they're going to bite off of a bunch of other styles of films, which I already saw in the trailer.
Which I thought, that part is the only thing I'm giving props to. That's the reason I wanted you to see the trailer. I like the fact that you're going to go, whoever made this goes, I love horror, the genre, so much. I'm going to take little pieces. You have to at least give props where props is due.
Or you could just make your own horror film. Show how
if you're
much you love horror.
If you're going to go through and remake a movie, you might as well go have fun and take...
You can bite other films.
Yes, have fun with it.
You can bite Pet Cemetery. You can take from it, man. I mean, look, Trauma did it.
That's its own category.
No. Here, Poultrygeist. Trauma bit off of Pet Cemetery. They bit off of basically Return of the Living Dead. They've bit off of a bunch of different horror films.
Yeah, that's also
Trauma.
That's Trauma. That's the category.
But so you can be, but at least it was creative. You can be your own director, write your own movie.
Right. But if you
bite
got
off
stuck
of whatever you got to bite off of to make it successful.
But if you got stuck doing a remake, let's say, hey, we're going to offer you this money, we want you to make this remake. And
as much as I appreciate doing things for money, there's a point where
you wouldn't pick Pet Cemetery?
No. If you're going to say, hey, we're going to do a horror remake, okay, let's find something that sucked and let's improve upon it.
Okay.
Don't find something that still holds up, that still gives you goosebumps.
It still gives the scares.
Yeah,
like
don't
kid alone,
don't
was
ruin
worth it for me.
Right, and they're just going to do that again. You heard him yell for a cage, and you saw the truck that teased it. You know they're doing that again. You know they're going to kill that kid again, which is fine. Do what you got to do in that film. Kill that kid. I get it, but that was one of that and the mom returning were the two scariest points.
And that evil cat man.
Which they showed throughout the trailer.
Which was kind of for knowing the source material so well, you're kind of like, well, that was a kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
That cat was just rough looking, not creepy.
Not dead looking.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. I'm not excited to see it. Of course, this is another, if I was Siskel or Ebert, I'd give it 2 thumbs down. But I'm not. I'm a pundit, so I'm going to give it -5.
Wow.
Out of 5 stars.
Toasty.
Yeah,
you're straight up burned.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's few book to movie adaptations done from that guy who I'm not even a fan of his books, really.
I am. So
and that's
because he put a place in the written horror genre. His adaptations to film, some people get it, some people don't. Yeah. And a lot of the times it fails. I think he has too much information to put into a hour and 30-minute long movie. And I think that's where the problem comes in.
For Stephen King, it's not his stories that bother me, it's his style.
His style is a little bit, you have to grow into it. And I totally understand you're pointing on it. I just give him props for doing what he's done. Because he's been keeping
good. And he's
literary horror alive for years.
He's been pumping it out without a break.
I don't know how.
Well, minimal breaks, but
he's still going strong.
He's written more books in less time, and he's written more books in less time than R.R. Martin has been writing one book.
Yeah, well,
yeah, just one. So, anyways, like I said, -5 out of 5. I'll wait for trailer 2 before and that's going to be a temporary rating. I'll wait for trailer 2 till I the one that they're going to give me half the film in.
Oh, you're waiting for the mini film.
The mini film, the one it's going to 9-minute long, half the film in the trailer. The one that it's going to make me decide whether I'm going to watch it or not.
Now, we've seen this happen in like other genres, like action films, where the entire trailer is cutting room floor. Do you think they could pull that off in horror?
No, because you're selling people on. Okay, so
Especially for this.
are you gonna? You can't do that right there, even with this one, right?
Mm.
Old man getting chased down by something.
Mm-hmm.
Can't cut that out of the film. That happens in the original. If you cut that out of the film, you're taking away a huge scene. The funeral scene, can't cut that out.
No. I'm just trying to figure out
The
a
only
way
thing you can cut out is the Amityville. Cut out the Amityville intro.
Then you lose out on the truck, the semi truck going by. That's
You don't lose out on that. You just lose out on the first semi truck going by.
True.
And you know what? Here, like I said, here's some parental logic. You know, you live on a road where people and semi trucks speed, and you've got some little kids. You know what the first thing you do before they play outside by themselves? Build a fence. Put a gate out. Sure, you got to get out of your car when you get in there and open the gate. But you know what doesn't happen? Your kid doesn't run on the road.
You're trying to make like parent sense out of a movie that's supposed to be why would you do this in the first place type of thing.
What? Move to a new house in the woods? I'd move there in a heartbeat. Tell me there's a haunted pet cemetery behind it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you would, but you would also.
And my kids wouldn't play in it.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I'd fence in my house. I'd wait for them little creepy kids to walk through my property, and we live in a stand your ground state. I'm in fear for my life.
Okay, so now we've just taken this from one extreme to another. So let's get into how we're supposed to start our show off.
Children,
not this week. So, how was your week?
Exhausting.
All right, though. But we're here. We're going to talk about some movies, and
we're going to be talking about the only movie that needs to be talked about this month.
I was going to try to think of something really off the wall, and I can't think of anything at this exact moment to sit there and go, hey, we're going to talk about this. So let's just cut past
the only movie that needs to be talked about this season. It's October, which means it's Halloween season, which means the only movie that matters
is The Nightmare Before Christmas. There, got
Halloween. This is Halloween. Not that. That is not Halloween.
Either way. So, we have this entire show to talk about Halloween, but we're going to end on a high note because I've been busy. Making things work a little bit better for us. So I'll announce that at the very end of the show. So let's talk about the love of Halloween.
All right, so
where did it start for you? That was my first we're talking about a movie that to me kind of set the bar of the time period. Now you may not agree with me because I already know your film list of your horror picks, but
this isn't horror.
What are you gonna call it? Psychological thriller?
Yep. And even if you want to lump, because of the later films, want to lump it into the slasher genre, this is the best slasher film. If you're going to lump it into, but it's not a slasher or a horror.
But that same category doesn't hold through for all the films.
No, just the first one, the only one that matters.
Okay.
This is a psychological thriller, not a horror.
Now, are you going to count out 4?
3?
No, 3 was. I'm not. We automatically. I know how you feel about 3. I'm removing the mask of Halloween out of the whole picking. I'm talking about 4. Little girl.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're gonna forget about the rest of them.
Why let that one go? Because to me that was a good way of. For the
same reason I'm gonna let Curse go.
Oh, what?
For the same reason I'm gonna let H2O go, which I enjoyed.
Oh, H2O is like almost in line with everything else.
Right. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let Resurrection go, even though it stars Busta Rhymes.
I already let that go a long time ago.
We're not even going to talk about the other ones, but I'm going to let all of the what used to be quote unquote canon go.
Why are you so easy to do it?
Because what do we have happening next week?
We're getting a new part 2.
Exactly. They're hitting the reset button, and I'm going to give them this moment to rewrite the history and tell me everything else didn't happen.
So you're okay with issues with remakes, but going through and pushing the story forward from a known point within a canon of any film.
Remakes of sequels are fine.
Really? So let's talk about another version of Halloween. That was a remake.
Not of a sequel. They initially remade the first one, and that was garbage.
Right. They should even.
And then they
but the way they did it. But the way they did it was their own version of one.
I hear you. I don't want to know my own version of one.
That's
the original. I want the original camp to come back and rewrite
Mm-hmm.
the. I mean, if you were telling me that the studio forced your hand
Mm-hmm.
and making a sequel that you didn't want to make, so you want to come back and do it right, which is the impression I'm getting from this.
Yeah.
That is verbatim what happened with Sam Raimi
Mm-hmm.
when he remade Evil Dead.
Mm.
He said, I didn't get to make the film I wanted to make due to financial constraints. So I want to make it. And it turned out well.
He did exactly what he wanted to do, which was
So as
try
long
to get
as
that
as
fear
long as
factor
we're
going
getting
on.
what the initial story was supposed to be, then I'm fine.
But
the fact
you
that
brought
this is
up
also
something.
a completion.
This is completion. But you also brought up something about having to get together the crew and writing this, which brings me up to a topic that we were kind of chatting back and forth about, which I think it's time to talk about. The comedies of Danny McBride.
Okay.
So
here is
we're not going to even
this
talk
is
about
the-
this movie.
this
We're
is
just
one
going
of
to talk
the-
about all of his comedies and how well he's done in comedy for so long.
I don't want to do that this episode because I do want to get in depth with Halloween and why it is such an important film.
But you at least make a comment on the fact of a known comedy writer.
Danny McBride, man, hold on.
Look what Blumhouse is doing.
Well, yeah, they're taking comedy writers and having them write horror, and turns out comics are really messed up people.
Yes.
And I mean, I listened to the Joe Rogan Experience, right?
Right.
And he said it that comics are that comics and serial
Tragic
killers
people.
are two sides of the are they're literally the same type of people.
Okay.
And I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but basically, serial killers have a lot of messed up things going on in their head, and their outlet is killing people.
Right.
Comics have a lot of really messed up things going on in their head, and their outlet is making people laugh. Two
Still,
different sides.
they're killing him. They're killing him.
Well, that's where killing. I guess that's the inside joke, and that's why you're killing it.
Yeah.
Kind of came from.
And of course,
is
you're
what-
having this
according to
whole
that.
killing psychopath thing going on right now. It's perfect for the whole Halloween thing.
Yep. So
You
here's
can't do that in November.
Danny McBride. My favorite thing he's ever been a part of is the dumbest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
It's called Hot Rod.
Oh, gosh.
It's got Andy Samberg. He plays a stuntman.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I don't know why I love it so much because it's stupid. It's one of those things, and of course, Tropic Thunder. He was awesome in Tropic Thunder.
The Demolitions guy.
Yeah, I mean, really anything. Eastbound and Down, even his own little series there was funny
Yeah.
for the first season. Of course, when you get jokes like that, they're played out, and you can only go that.
Yeah, and that was the rear I was getting into what he's actually able to do.
Well, he co-wrote this film.
Yeah, and straight off the bat, I was kind of like, what?
Well, see, here's the thing. I would be really hesitant had I not seen what Jordan Peele just did.
That's the part that changes everything.
Yeah, as soon as Blumhouse gets together with starts getting together with comedians to make horror.
It's
seems to
almost
be-
an automatic win.
So let's get off this topic since we're going to review this film when it comes out. Let's get on to the topic at hand. 1978's Halloween. We've already ran the numbers on this film during our horror podcast. Our
You know
slasher
what?
podcast.
I cannot remember that. Plus, if you want to go back and check it, you can fact check us. But hey, brand new day. Let's go ahead and let's do the numbers, man.
All right. So directed, John Carpenter.
There you go.
Came out in 1978, starring Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. So, while I pull open these
The numbers.
the numbers, what is your favorite part of this film here?
The slow grind. That's all. The movie was sold for me on the slow grind, and like we were talking about, this is a psychological thriller, and I enjoy a good psychological thriller. That's my edge in the world of horror. The way it was played, the fact that some of the kills you just never saw, you just created them in your mind, or you found the aftermath and you didn't really get a good job. It's the fact that this guy is moving slow as all get out, and
They
taking
did a
people
build
out.
up. Like think about when Dr. Loomis is outside. And they have that music that right now has trained us to do a jump scare. That music is playing, and no jump scare comes.
That
Nothing.
movie is full of those.
It
When
just
they're
builds
walking
suspense.
home and they turn around and he's just there.
All right, so the writers John Carpenter, of course, wrote and directed this film. The release date was October 27th, 1978, just in time for Halloween.
Again, we're doing the same thing.
And the budget was an estimated $300,000. $300,000. And in 1970, in the 1970s, 300 grand was the equivalent to today's like 3 million.
Yeah.
Still a very small number. And as far as filmmaking goes, the gross budget or the gross box office, $47 million set to date of what it's grossed. It's pretty interesting things.
Okay.
So this movie, it's often one of the films cited to the best slasher film, or Michael Myers being the best slasher character. Once we've established that he is a psychological thriller villain, not a slasher character.
You just want to take him out of that category so he has his own category.
Well, Michael doesn't have his own category. He is in the same category as the Tall Man.
Okay.
That's Phantasm is a psychological thriller.
But it's so good though. I still put it in the horror category.
It's not,
because once we start getting down the road of Phantasm, after 3D, it was just like, okay, we're just making these gory for gore's sake.
With Halloween and with Phantasm, just because they are psychological thrillers doesn't mean they're not horror. They're just part of a horror subgenre.
No, that's fine. Because I'm not debating on you on that.
They build suspense. They
better than anybody else has.
Yeah, better than any.
Well, the moderns, because
better than anything in the time frame was doing it. Really, look at what came out afterwards in the same time frame. In the same decade, or the same couple of year or two, give or take, before or after. You had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not very suspenseful of a film. More of just a
it didn't
rush.
Come through very suspenseful. I mean, it's not like you can hear this guy coming.
But it was more of just a rush of adrenaline, which is fine. I dig that in my horror. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre did a fantastic job. Then afterwards comes Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
Not saying those movies were bad. Not saying those movies didn't build suspense, but they didn't do it as well.
The Voorhees family did.
I don't think, if you were to compare the Michael and how terrifyingly vague he was in that whole film versus Mrs. Voorhees, I think there comes a point where...
But comparing those two, I hate doing the whole apples to oranges. This is great to kiwi or something. Yeah, something extreme. This is Mrs. Voorhees did it way better.
I disagree with you.
And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about the first Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Sorry for the spoiler warning there, but if you don't know that one by now, then you need to go out and go see
your life.
Go see a movie. But so what was it that pulled you for? Where's the love for this film come from for you?
The slow burn. It's reminiscent to the time when you go watch Salem's Lot. You never see anybody die, but you know they do. And in this one, you don't really see anybody die, but you
walk past people who are stuck to walls.
They don't ever come back into frame. You're like, that he did.
He did.
You don't need to see the gore. You don't need to see the kill shot. I mean, and sometimes that's really good to do.
But do you think realize in the current
Michael
film
took
genre,
more violence? You saw on screen Michael getting shot more than you saw Michael stabbing anybody on screen.
Yeah,
except for because he took 7 bullets.
Yeah,
6 bullets at least.
But do you think in this current film world that we're in right now, that's kind of the par for the course? So since we're on the topic, we're gonna go see the next one. Do you think we're going to end up with a mixture movie? I've heard different reviews, but do you think we're going to get a mixture movie of a little bit more gory than the original, but still having in the edge of suspense?
No, I think.
Do you think it's the people that are working on it?
I think we're getting a revenge flick and a tie-up, like a final. Like, here's a bow.
Do you want to put the bet on this one? You want to do
Another
a real
bet? No,
a real
we haven't finished and finalized the last one.
Oh, what's coming up
I
for
don't
Christmas?
I don't like having debt.
So you don't want film debt?
I don't want film debt.
The real Pundits
All
Bank
right,
could
so
help you out, man.
Let's
Diversify your bonds.
What would your terms be?
The terms isn't really that set. I just don't think this is the end.
I hope it is.
I think it's going to be the end for Laurie.
It better be.
Well,
She's old.
I'm waiting for some type of twist. I want.
I'm sure it's gonna happen. And to me,
as long as she doesn't fall in a tree,
I don't need a twist in this film. I don't see. Here's the problem, right? A lot of Hollywood and a lot of directors currently, when they get the original product and they decide they're going to either continue with the story or tell something new or remake it entirely, they lose sight of what would be best and want to give it their own creative twist.
Right. We've seen that happen a lot recently.
What would be the absolute ideal way for the next Halloween movie to end, Halloween 2018, would be to either A, see Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers kill each other. Both of them laying there bleeding out. B, Jamie Lee Curtis dies. Michael gets back locked up. And now her granddaughter has just experienced it and is left alone, kind of redoing the cycle.
Right.
But this time, Michael's really too old. He's not like he's getting out in 30 years and going to come back.
Right.
But in order for that to happen, the mother has to die and a few of her friends have to die.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm fine with it.
The twist I'm trying to get at is
I don't want Jamie Lee Curtis to pick up the mantle. I don't want anybody else to pick up the
no,
mantle.
I don't. I'm not thinking of the mantle. It's just the fact of this is Laurie. Yes, she's aged and she's coming back, and it's now a revenge film, but she's never as prepared for this, and that's the twist I'm talking about. There's going to be something there's going to be something that she's going to make a huge mistake on, and I'm just trying to figure out where is it going to be.
If she doesn't die in this movie, they have failed.
So that's the real term.
Yeah, that really, if Laurie Strode doesn't die, and I don't care for what reason, I don't care if it's a freaking headshot because she sees him walking down the street and the movie's over. I don't care.
If she
doesn't die, you didn't build enough suspense here because she's the only person that's ever combat Michael. Loomis is dead. Right? This is supposed to be Loomis's protege who is caused all of this because he doesn't quite understand
what he's getting
into. Laurie's the only one that understands it. Laurie's the only one prepared to actually deal with it. So in order to build suspense, she's got to go at some point in late Act 2.
You think it's going to be
of Act 3? She's got to die. If it's Act 1, that's even better.
Too screamish.
What? Killing her Act 1?
Killing her Act 1. I mean,
no, it's not screamish. Killing her Act 1 is Halloween Resurrection-ish.
Oh,
because
that
you
was
killed her
in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, man, it was brilliant.
They fell in a tree.
Yeah,
fall to your death in a tree.
Brilliant.
I don't want to see that again.
I mean, I don't need to see that again. I don't need to see her locked up.
I want to see her. I want to actually see a whole thing where she fights. I want to see the fight.
That's why I said that needs to be the climax in Act 2. Well, because you have to wrap up the film in Act 3. I don't need climax into climax into climax.
No, because I think we need to at least also establish how much she's prepared. But there's something that she's not.
This is Halloween, so what we need is slow burn. We need a mild climax in the middle of the film, and then a slow taper down to the end of it, and which you then get that ramp up from 0 to 100 in the matter of seconds, right 20 minutes before the film ends, or 10 minutes before the film ends. You need all that excitement because what you need to do is build up, plateau.
Stay there for a
while. Build up, plateau, and then ramp it up and then drop you off.
And at that point, we should be able to wash our hands of this.
That's why this needs to be the end.
I'm waiting to see what they're going to do. But the problem that I'm seeing is
leaving it open for interpretation, guessing for that there might be a next one. I can get behind. I can get behind them leaving the granddaughter
as an open.
This might be the next Laurie Strode. I can dig it.
But here's the problem. In current Hollywood, the reason why I'm kind of pushing you towards this is in current Hollywood, that is the trend.
And you know what? In current Hollywood, they're making bad decisions for movies.
So we might get this as a good one, but I would not be in shock if all of a sudden we get a number 3 and it's about a whole bunch of masks.
The Marvel movie after Avengers 4 loses money.
Okay. Is that another prediction?
This is a prediction.
Another psychic prediction that you have?
How many of them am I wrong in?
A couple. That's more.
How many am I actually wrong in, though?
So far 4.
Out of how many?
Oh, tons.
Normally, I'm pretty spot on. Here's why.
Okay.
Right? And this is going to lead me back onto why.
Oh, please do. I'd like to see where you're going to go with this.
Chris Evans has already made that tweet of like
that was the worst mistake you could possibly ever make.
Now we know that Captain America's dead in the film, or at least the Steve Rogers Captain America. Robert Downey Jr. probably ain't coming back. After
his
contract's up.
His contract is done and up because he's not even going to show up for Spider-Man past, I think, 2.
So yeah, he's gone, right? James Gunn is gone, and therefore Dave Bautista is gone. Which means yes, you can do the other Guardians of the Galaxies, but I'll use this as an example here.
Okay.
I was sitting with Linda, and we were watching. Finally, she finished watching Avengers because we've been trying to get the time. And when they all died, she goes, "What are they going to do in the next film?" I said, "Well, there's a ton of other Avengers. There's a ton of other Guardians of the Galaxies to use, right?" And and spoiler alert, most of the Guardians get vanished. If you haven't seen
what?
That
that happened?
Yeah. Okay. She goes, "But why would I want to go see a movie that doesn't have these people?"
Okay.
She's a comic book fan.
Right.
That feels that way because she likes these movies. Imagine the average moviegoer that goes to see a Guardians of the Galaxy film because of Peter Quill and Drax. So, and Groot and Rocket, and you're not getting those back because they don't want to come back because of James Gunn not being there. So now you've got to sell a new audience on new Guardians they don't really know.
And they've killed off some of the other potential Guardians already.
Yeah.
And they're not coming back.
I mean, you can do the Sly group.
Yeah.
You could do that.
There's like more Guardians than there are, but the problem is you've
got to sell a
brand new
set of Guardians to
and no Nova. See, that's what I'm thinking they're actually going to do. Is they're going to bring in
Nova's going to be in this one. It's already been teased.
Yeah.
So whatever this is going to be in, you're going to have a lot more celestial powers, but now you've boxed yourself into you've been working so hard at building to Thanos in this. You haven't really thought of establishing what happens after Thanos.
I think they actually have a plan.
I'm sure they do. Adam Warlock is probably going to be involved with it. So is Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing that I'm bringing up. They went to the top of the mountain for the villain for this phase of.
Oh yeah, and we are in superhero fatigue.
Who are you going to bring up that's as dangerous as? I'm waiting for you to say it because I want to hear my favorite character finally get brought in and done properly because that's pretty much all you have.
They're not going to do Doom right off.
Come on,
you're going to build to it. They're going to build to it with a Fantastic Four film again, with another Doom. Ugh. But what you can have, if the rumors are true, in Kang the Conqueror, is he.
But do you know how many non-comic book people even know who that guy is?
Nope, because I don't really talk Kang the Conqueror with non-comic book people.
Thank you.
But you also have the Living Tribunal.
They're not going to touch that.
No, because in order to touch that, now you got to get deeper into Thor and you got to get deeper into a lot of more celestial stuff. But this is the problem. So you've introduced the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a lot of celestial.
That's a lot of celestial powers.
That's a lot of celestial powers. And you kind of touched on it with Ego. Cool. No. But you really didn't touch on because there's Ego's cool and Ego's kind of powerful, but he's not.
No.
He's not powerful in comparison. Galactus could eat Ego.
Casually,
yeah.
That's a tapas meal.
And see, even Thanos, Galactus. There's a villain bigger than Thanos.
Yeah, but
if they do that properly and not a cloud.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you have to make Galactus. If you're gonna do it, you have to make
The
Galactus.
giant floating robot in
All right.
space. Yeah, we need to rein this back. Okay, so
Drive back on the road now. We're getting mud in the tires.
Studios paint themselves into corners when they set up for future installments, and then they make them, and then they make a bad decision,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they make another bad decision because they're trying to milk the cow.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to take this cow labeled Halloween and milk it for all it's worth, because there was mild interest in more coming out after the terrible Rob Zombie remake, but there wasn't enough interest for them to feel comfortable letting Rob Zombie do anymore.
Right.
So the only thing you have is to bring back the original people, see if they want to do it, because
They got they got a lot of people.
Roseanne was successful. Why don't we try it again?
Wow, we're going there.
But no, I mean that's verbatim what Roseanne was.
Yeah.
It was, hey, this was successful once. Let's see if it's successful.
Let's continue
again.
the story, and we're still going to get that
successful.
now. Now it's just going to be the Connors.
Yeah, I listened to her interview about it. She's really, yeah, it's crazy. That
That one got you, huh?
Now that whole thing is nuts, man. I don't want to get into it.
We'll move on, but it's just the fact of they're still trying again.
Yeah,
and I think that's
where
the
it's
problem
stupid.
is
So
in Hollywood right now is we're going to try, and that's where all these remakes are coming from.
Because she said when they fired her, they approached her and made her sign over, like the creative
rights, yeah.
Which she did because she didn't want to make people lose their job because of her stupid mouth.
Right.
Which you got to respect that from her. But here's the thing. So you've had one person controlling your lines and controlling your story arc since the inception of the show. And now that person's no longer there.
And so we're all going to wait to see.
Also your lead cast member. And it was literally called Roseanne.
Uh-huh.
So now you're giving us a newly packaged show without your star.
Yes.
So this is exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was wondering how you were gonna get I thought you were still off on the side of the road.
This is exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're still going to go with it. They're still going to try it again.
They're just going to add new members.
And you know what? If you want to take out leave Gamora dead, and rehire James Gunn and let Wade Batista comes back, leave Gamora dead. Bring in, because she didn't die with a snap. She got sacrificed. She's inside the Soul Stone. Leave her dead.
We'll have Nebula. And
you have Nebula. And then maybe Groot and Rocket go off on their own little adventure, as happens.
Yeah.
And when Thanos is defeated, Drax has no reason to be there. So now it's just Peter Quill and Nebula, and they pick up
random people
that belong in the Guardians. And then you have that interchangeable thing. But the problem is, if you don't get Chris Pratt back, you lose your core audience.
And we will see. And
because Nebula's not selling tickets. But this is the bad decisions Hollywood's making.
And you think that this can still, I'm going to bring it back onto the highway we're supposed to be on. You think that same situation can happen with Halloween?
I think that if they don't do it correctly, if they don't end this, wrap this up and end it, because here's the thing:
you want a bow on top of this.
This is a remake nobody asked for.
Okay,
this is a play on nostalgia to gain a little bit of money for a short term. If they try to go long term with this, they're going to end up losing money.
I 100% agree with you. I just want to see what your thoughts were due to. I'm ready for, as much as I love the character of Laurie, I'm ready.
Yeah, I watched her die once. I'm fine with it again.
Yeah, but that was I'm running for my life death versus the let's do this.
That was not an I'm running for my life death. She fought him on that rooftop.
Yeah, but it wasn't that much of a fight.
I don't think this is going to be either.
I think it is.
I think, if she keeps him at bay, if she shoots at him, yeah.
I think she's probably going to bring him more.
I think this is going to be more than. I think this is going to be more detective work.
Oh, okay.
She's trying. I think the most of this movie is going to be her hunting him while he's hunting her.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing the movie.
Which is how her daughter dies, because bait.
You think she's that cruel?
No, I think he's that cruel.
Oh, he's that cruel.
I think he's going to they're going to go missing.
Uh-huh.
They're going to end up in his house.
And
she's going to go
well, I got to go after her.
And bam, there goes the granddaughter escapes. Final confrontation in Act 2. Now Michael's chasing the granddaughter for Act 3.
Well, I hope that we can go back through and listen to this after we watch the movie to see exactly how close you were. And it will be an impressive thing. But on that note,
we got to go.
That's our episode. So my big thing that I want to end it off with. You can catch us right now. If you want to listen to the real pundits, you can catch us on Podbean, where we're hosting at. You can catch us on iTunes. You can catch us on YouTube. You can now catch us on Google Play. And you can also catch us on Spotify.
Hear that? Spotify.
Yes. Been working on all that. So you can, we try to make sure we have ourselves out there so far that you can find a way to actually hear us. So we've given you all, spread it around, because we've spread ourselves around, and all of our episodes are on every single one of those different outlets. And give us a listen.
Give us a review. Tell us what you think. Contact us at the mailbag,
Yes.
which would be, send a letter, email, tweet, whatever you got to do. But send an email to the mailbag at, or excuse me, mailbag, not the mailbag, but it's mailbag at therealpundits.com. You can also find us on Twitter at brandrealpundit and at ANA Real Pundit. That's Alex's Twitter and then my Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at The Real Pundits. You can talk film with us at the Real Pundits Film Talk on Facebook. Also, if you're listening to us on iTunes, go ahead and give us a rating. You think we're a good podcast? Give us 1 to 5 stars. Whether you think we're a good podcast or a bad podcast, just tell us what you think. Give us some opinions. We're always looking to grow, improve, and better the product so you guys enjoy it more. So yeah, the more feedback you give us, the better we can do.
And that's about it for this week, and we will find you guys next week after watching Halloween.
2018.
You. Bye, y'all.